Howdy, it's Matt, and this video is a little bit something different. I'm calling it off topic because that's exactly what's happening with this channel over the next couple of months. As many of you will know, that we have had quite a good focus on the RC hobby, which we got to admit, we've had a lot of fun, haven't we? We've blown up some stuff, we smashed up some foams, and it really has been my personal learning experience with RC over the past couple of years. We've had some really good models, we've had some really bad models, and I kind of set out with a point to prove, which is that there is very big biases out there in this industry, especially with free products which are being thrown around. And I don't know if you remember, so those of you which have been around here for 3 years or more will know the fundamental factors or the house rules for this YouTube channel. Be me, never lie, and be humble. What 3 fantastic pillars to start anything on. And they have really helped guide me over the last couple of years. Now let's get on to the point, which is that things are going to change here a little bit. Direction is moving slightly, still with a high tendency towards RC, that's for sure. But there's a couple of projects which I would like to share over the next couple of months, and also some things which have been going on in the background as well. And now that I've kind of got bored of those things, I think it's about time that I just clear the decks with those things. And so as such, let's get to the point, Matty. In short, there is, and you may have already seen it, a video going out on how not to buy a lemon of an MX-5, something which I personally bought an MX-5 in January, and then kind of owned 20 plus, maybe more, with the premise that I was going to save MX-5s from my midlife crisis. Then quickly worked out that while the majority of the people who are into MX-5s or into cars in general are very nice, there's unfortunately a large thread which are not particularly that nice to deal with, and there's an awful lot of tyre kickers out there, and I really just don't like that genre of customer. Does that make sense? It doesn't really suit me. I'm used to dealing with software and business owners, highly motivated people which will just get shit done. And that's not your average MX-5 owner. However, there's a lot of positives to be taken here. That guide on how not to buy a lemon of an MX-5, I feel is going to be the de facto standard, so people don't end up getting ripped off. So I think there's value in there. So I did, and I also personally really enjoyed making that video because it was so outside of my comfort zone. We were outside for one. We were looking at a topic which was completely unrelated to RC, and I think there's a few things which I liked about that. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of things which I liked about that episode. Anyway, and there were a few things which I didn't. Again, everything's just a big learning experience. Right, getting to my point, do look out for a couple of videos on MX-5s over the next couple of weeks. I definitely do want to be setting up a gimbal here on the workbench, and you'll notice that this space is a little bit different. It's a change of character, it's a change for me as a presenter and also a person. I've been procrastinating or putting off a lot of things lately. One of them is coding, and 2, around a few topics, this video being one of them. So look out for a video on that very shortly. We're going to be using a flight controller board to set up a gimbal for a GoPro so that we can mount a camera on the back of the MX-5. And I'm going to take you around some of the best roads in Bristol. And so many of you know I had a muck around with some dash cam footage. I stopped doing that because I felt it was very negative. It was pointing out the wrong side of humanity. We all make fuck-ups, in short, and I feel dashcam footage, while sometimes very funny to look at in hindsight, and I recently used a clip of it in a video because it was so unbelievable, but I don't personally feel it's it's not a positive thing, and I'd like to be a very positive person, and I want to get away from that negativity. So anyway, we're going to go and see some of the most fantastic roads around in Bristol and Bath. As many of you know, I live in Bristol. And we have some absolutely stunning roads here, so look out for some really cool footage very shortly. we're just going to be going for a drive. I may do a narration over on the top of it. I don't know just yet. I've just got it in my head. I want to set up a flight controller as a gimbal to attach to the car, to put a GoPro on there so you can join me and go and visit some of the best roads there are in Bristol and the surrounding areas, all in an MX-5, kind of all on the topic of something which I'm interested in. Hopefully you're interested in too. Now, talking about being interested in things, give you an early heads up, I am going to be building my very own CNC router. Now, I don't know why I've had this in my, well, I've had it in my head for years. I've always wanted a 10 by 5 foot, so you can stick a whole piece of 8 by 4 on top of it and manufacture furniture. I would love to get to that stage. However, I know that it's a learning curve. I have very little modelling experience. I have no CNC experience. I can just about make something in SketchUp. So I'm going to do this in 2 stages. I'm going to make, and you're going to join me in this adventure, into making a CNC from scratch. Okay, I'm not going to buy a shitty kit. No, that's derogatory. I'm not going to buy a kit off the shelf, because I've watched a couple of those videos and I really don't like them. Remember that general ethos of this channel. I just don't like what I'm seeing. So in short, I'm going to go and build my own. Yes, it's going to be a challenge. Am I going to screw up? Of course. But the plan is that I'm going to make a smaller CNC, maybe a meter by whatever, just so that we can have a play around. And I'm going to use this to make some RC parts, some non-RC parts as well. I always like this I'm going off topic from one of my notes here. I always like the comment which I get sometimes is that, and I feel very warm by that, and again I'm opening myself up to you here, which is that people tell me that I'm creative, okay? And I don't think that's the case at all. I'm not a creative person. I was always shit at art at school. I was never any good at drama or anything like that. I don't class myself as a creative person. However, I do class myself as a curious person. And curiosity is something which, if you have children, is something which you should categorically foster, because curiosity makes you do things and good things happen. That's why I'm stood here in front of a camera with no real script, no real fear of putting myself out onto the interwebs and opening myself up to comment, which some people can look at and some people will be negative to it and most people will be positive to it. So yeah, so we are going to have a few creative projects. I've got a couple already stuck in my head. For example, I was sat in Cafe Nero this morning routine, there with a nice triple espresso coffee, as you do, and I'm now looking at the window and there's a Cafe Nero sign, and they've used like a plastic film to put that symbol on the glass. But then there was me thinking about it, what happens if I've got a piece of plywood, for example, or plastic, and then cut out design, maybe the rag the nuts off sign, and then spray painted or lacquered on top so that we end up with an emblem on top of an object. Now I was using a window as an example, but there's many other applications to that as well. I'm also thinking I have projects here which I need to do in my office too, and having a CNC router is going to be a bit of a toy. It is going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm going to make lots of mistakes, and I think there's a story in that. So that's what we've got coming up here in the near future. I say in the near future, I'm literally at the design stage. I know I want one, I'm having one, and that's just the way it is. So that's the kind of logic in my head, and heck, you're going to come along for the story as well, or the adventure, should I say. There's also other projects which I've got to do here, literally here in the background. So this is where we are going to go off the script. You're going to actually see some of my workspace for once. So let's get you unhooked from the chains of the stand and get you out of here. So let's turn this round. Now this is, I'm not going to say my wall of shame, this is where all my models are. This is where I've been storing them. So we've got slope saws there, we've got a collection of wings. There's a balsa kit which I really just need to give away. There's an old 450 quad which I made up there as well. There's the S-Back, potentially one of the best models of all time. I really like that S-Back. Collection of other models. Again, I just needed some way of sticking models on the wall, so I just bought a cheap kit off eBay for 50, 60, 70 quid, and then just bolted it to the wall, screwed it to the wall, and then just stuck some timber up. Now, the thing is the issue is, yes, that lot. I have parts, lots of parts in boxes, which are just it's really nice to have parts in boxes, but the issue is I just can't organise them. I've got models here all around the floor. There's a 3D printer down there which I don't use enough. As such, the point which I'm getting to is that we are going to be building an RC bench together. Now, there's some cool things which I want to include with that one, like wireless charging. I'd like a soldering station. I'd like pop-up rails, lighting, lots of cool stuff. And I'm going to be taking ideas from you as a community on the things which I should be having in the workbench. And I'm just going to make it out of 3x2 and plywood. So that's a project which we've got coming up as well. So with that said, it's telling me I've only got a minute left here on this battery charge. So let's get you back up there. There we go. And make sure I haven't missed anything. So, key point for you to take away. Still very much interested in RC. You will still get Rag the Nuts Off episodes here of either models, parts, products and things like that. We will also definitely have the RC Funny Farm, and I fully intend for me and Andrew to carry on blowing stuff up because frankly it's funny, it makes me laugh, and I'm sure it made you gasp more than once as well. So there you go, that's me. Look out for some changes here on the Rag the Nuts Off channel, and it's always a good day when you see somebody who you classed as a mentor borrow your ideas. You know what I'm talking about. I did find that absolutely amusing and also a little bit heartwarming. Very proud moment, that one. Anyway, from myself, Matt, if you've got any ideas which I can do with a CNC, let me know down in the comments section underneath this video. Rag the nuts off. New adventure for the future. From myself, Matt, cheerios. Enjoy the ride. Howdy, I'm Matt. I want to say a big thank you to you for taking the time to watch this episode. Every single model and piece of kit which you've seen in this video has been bought by myself for my own abuses, so that you know if a product is good, it's good, and if it's bad, well, we kind of blow it up. Shout for help now. If you're in the live version as well, hold on to your seats and kiss your ass goodbye. Get out! Jesus!
Safety first.
Safety first. I do have my safety glasses.
Whoa! What the f have you done? Whoa!
Alan
Check out the steak on the Barbie.
Alan says,
Oh,
like,
it's burning on the outside of it now.
Well,
Look at it.
That is the wheel of doom.
oh, Matthew, I think you should put that out now.
So with that said, a big thank you to you for taking the time to watch this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. If you're new here, don't forget to press the like button and also to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification so that YouTube lets you know when the next episode is out. So with that said, from myself, Matt, cheerios!